There are no coincidences when it comes to God's plan. If you are here, it is because you have been led by divine guidance. You are not just another person passing through life unnoticed, you are chosen. God has called you for a purpose, and now the time has come for a transformation that will shake the very foundation of who you are. For so long, you have prayed, hoped, and waited. You have longed for a breakthrough, wondering when your moment would come. But hear this, the time is now. God is moving, aligning everything for your transformation, and it will happen in a single night. When you awaken, you will no longer be the same. The struggles that once held you back will fade, and in their place, you will rise with strength, wisdom, and divine favor. This is not just change, it is a complete rebirth, a moment where destiny unfolds before you. You are about to witness the power of God's hand in your life in ways you never imagined. Stay open, stay ready, because when He calls, only the chosen will recognize the magnitude of what is happening. You have been chosen. Do you feel the shift happening within you? Are you ready to embrace the transformation that will make you stronger, bolder, and unstoppable? If your spirit says yes, declare it now. Comment, "I am chosen," and step into the power of your destiny. But this transformation is not for everyone. It is reserved for God's chosen ones, the 1% who have been set apart for something greater. Many may hear this message, but only a few will truly receive it. This is not just a shift in mindset or an improvement in circumstances. It is a divine rebirth, a renewal that touches every aspect of your being. Only those who are ready, those who have been called, will step into this transformation. When God chooses someone, He does not simply elevate them, He completely reshapes their existence. This transformation will be evident in every part of your life. Your physical presence will reflect His favor. Your strength, both inward and outward, will be renewed. Where there was once struggle, there will be breakthrough. Where there was once uncertainty, there will be clarity. The things that seemed impossible will suddenly align, and doors that were once closed will open effortlessly. People will notice the difference. They will see a new glow in your face, a confidence in your walk, and a power in your presence. They may not understand what has changed, but they will feel it. The chosen ones do not need to seek validation from the world. Their transformation speaks for itself. Those who once overlooked you will now recognize something different, something undeniable. You have been chosen, and that truth will manifest in ways beyond imagination. And yet, transformation does not happen by accident. It requires faith, readiness, and an open heart to receive what God is preparing to pour into your life. God's chosen ones are not passive observers of their destiny. They are active participants in His divine plan. This is a call to action. The moment of change is near, but only those who recognize the signs and step forward in faith will witness the fullness of their transformation. God is already sending signals, aligning circumstances, and placing divine confirmations in your path. These signs may come in many forms: an unshakable feeling in your spirit, moments of synchronicity, dreams that seem too vivid to be mere imagination, or doors opening in ways you never expected. Pay attention. The universe and God Himself are speaking to you, affirming that now is the time to prepare for change. However, this journey is not for the faint of heart. Many will hear the message but will not be ready to receive it. Some will allow doubt to cloud their faith, questioning whether they are truly called for something greater. Fear will try to hold them back, whispering lies that they are not worthy, not strong enough, or not ready. But the chosen ones must rise above these distractions, knowing that when God calls, He equips. If you feel the stirring in your soul, if you sense that something beyond the ordinary is about to take place, trust that it is real. Taking the first step requires an act of faith. It means choosing to believe even when the evidence is not yet visible. It means speaking life over your destiny, declaring with boldness that you are ready for what God has in store. It is not enough to simply hope for transformation, must claim it. The chosen ones do not wait for the perfect moment. They step forward in trust, knowing that God has already set everything in motion. And as you step forward, you will feel the weight of divine power moving around you. There will be moments of undeniable confirmation, people who suddenly speak words of encouragement you needed to hear, situations that shift in your favor, or an overwhelming peace that reassures you that you are exactly where you need to be. These are not coincidences. They are divine markers, evidence that you are walking in alignment with your calling. This is the moment of preparation. The transformation you seek is within reach, but it requires your willingness to receive it. God's chosen ones must recognize the signs, embrace the shift, and move forward with unwavering faith. The time is now. The call has been made. The question is, are you ready to answer it? And then, in a single night, everything will change. This is not a slow, gradual process. It is a moment of divine intervention, a shift so profound that by the time the sun rises, you will not recognize the person you once were. The transformation will be instant, undeniable, and irreversible. As you lay your head down that night, something within you will stir. A weight will begin to lift, burdens that have clung to you for years will dissolve, and the shackles of doubt, fear, and limitation will break. This is the moment that God has chosen to reset your life, to strip away everything that no longer serves you, and to pour into you the strength, wisdom, and power that you were always meant to carry. In a single night, you will awaken as a new creation. The shift will be evident not only within but without. Your body will feel lighter, stronger, as if every cell has been renewed. The fatigue that once drained you will be replaced with boundless energy. Your face will radiate with an unexplainable glow, your posture will be taller, and your presence will command attention without effort. People who see you will instinctively sense the change even before you speak a word. You will walk with a new authority, the authority of someone chosen by God. But more than the physical, it is the spiritual transformation that will be most astonishing. Your mind will no longer be plagued by confusion or hesitation. The insecurities and doubts that once held you back will have no place in this new version of you. Instead, clarity will flood your thoughts, and a deep, unwavering confidence will settle within your soul. You will know exactly who you are and what you were created for. And as you step into this newfound awareness, the world around you will begin to respond. The energy you carry will shift your environment. Opportunities that were once hidden will now be revealed. People who once overlooked you will now be drawn to you. Not because you seek attention, but because God's hand upon you is now impossible to ignore. The transformation is not simply about becoming stronger or more successful, it is about stepping into your divine destiny. This is the night that marks a new chapter. A chapter where you no longer live in uncertainty but in power. A chapter where your presence shifts atmospheres, where your words carry weight, and where your very existence becomes a testimony to God's miraculous work. The world may not understand how such a transformation could happen overnight, but those who are chosen know. When God moves, He moves swiftly, and in one night, everything changes. And as the transformation takes full effect, it will be visible in both your appearance and your spirit. The change will not be subtle, it will be undeniable, something that even those around you cannot ignore. You will radiate the power of divine favor, and your very presence will carry an energy that demands recognition. Your face will glow with renewed youthfulness, as if years of stress and struggle have been lifted away overnight. The burdens that once weighed on your heart and mind will no longer manifest in your body. Your eyes will shine with clarity, your posture will exude strength, and your movements will reflect the confidence of someone who has stepped into their divine destiny. Where there was once exhaustion, there will now be vigor. Where there was once weariness, there will now be a deep, unshakable energy that empowers you to move with purpose. But this transformation is not just physical, it is spiritual, emotional, and mental. You will wake up with a peace that surpasses all understanding, as if every unanswered question, every lingering doubt, has been silenced. Your purpose will no longer feel distant or unclear. Instead, it will be illuminated before you, like a path carved by the very hand of God. Every step you take will feel guided, every decision filled with certainty. This is the clarity that only the chosen ones receive, a divine knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. And the world will notice. People who once overlooked you will now sense something different. Some will be drawn to you, captivated by your presence without fully understanding why. Others, who once doubted you, will be forced to acknowledge that something profound has taken place. They may not have believed in your journey before, but now they cannot deny what they see. The chosen ones do not seek approval from the world, yet their transformation compels others to recognize the divine power at work in them. Even those who once dismissed your worth will be left in awe. They will wonder how someone they underestimated has suddenly stepped into such confidence, such authority. But the answer is simple. This is what happens when God chooses someone. This is what happens when divine favor is revealed. You are no longer the person they once knew, and you never will be again. This is not a temporary change. It is a permanent shift, a rebirth into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. The transformation is complete, and now the world must witness the undeniable evidence of God's power in you. You are chosen, and the proof is in everything you have become. And yet, before this transformation could take place, you had to endure the fire. The path of the chosen ones is never easy. It is filled with trials, hardships, and moments of deep suffering that test faith, resilience, and endurance. Every struggle you have faced was never meant to break you, was meant to prepare you. You have walked through seasons of isolation, feeling as though no one truly understood the weight you carried. You have known loneliness, not because you were forgotten, but because God was setting you apart. The chosen ones are never meant to blend in. They are called to stand out. And sometimes standing out means walking alone for a time, but what felt like abandonment was actually protection. God was shielding you from people, situations, and influences that were never meant to be part of your journey. The betrayals you endured, the people who turned their backs on you when you needed them most, these were not mere coincidences. They were lessons, revelations that forced you to rely on God alone. You may have questioned why those you trusted betrayed you, why doors kept closing, why every effort seemed to be met with resistance. But now you understand. God was refining you. He was stripping away everything that was not meant for the next chapter of your life. Financial struggles may have weighed heavily on you, making you feel as if you were constantly stuck, as if no matter how hard you worked, breakthrough remained just out of reach. But even this was part of the process. God was teaching you patience, teaching you to trust in His provision rather than your own abilities. If success had come too easily, you would not have been able to steward it wisely. But now, you have learned what it means to wait on God, to rely on Him as your provider, and to trust that when the time is right, He will release the abundance meant for you. And then, there were the moments of doubt, the times when you wondered if you were truly chosen, if the promises over your life would ever come to pass. The enemy tried to shake your faith, tried to convince you that you were not special, that you were forgotten. But despite the doubt, despite the hardships, you held on. Even when it was painful, even when everything in you wanted to give up, you refused to let go of the calling that was placed upon you. Now, as you stand on the other side of those trials, you can see it clearly. Every hardship had a purpose. Every tear, every disappointment, every setback was not a punishment, but a preparation. You have been tested and proven, and now God is ready to reward your faithfulness. The suffering you endured was never in vain. It was building you, strengthening you, and shaping you into the person you were always meant to be. This is your moment of elevation. You are not stepping into this transformation unprepared. You have been refined by fire, and now you rise stronger than ever before. And now, as you step fully into your transformation, you will feel it not only in your spirit, but in your very body. God's chosen ones do not just experience an internal renewal, they are completely revitalized, mind, body, and soul. This is not just a metaphorical change, it is a tangible, undeniable shift that will affect every part of your existence. Physically, you will feel stronger than ever before. The exhaustion that once drained you will vanish, replaced by an overwhelming sense of energy and vitality. Where your body once felt heavy, weighed down by stress, fatigue, and years of struggle, you will now feel light, free, and powerful. Your movements will become more deliberate, your posture will straighten, and your very presence will exude strength. It will seem as though time itself has reversed, restoring your youthfulness and erasing the physical toll of past burdens. This is the renewal that happens when God's hand is upon you. He does not simply heal your spirit, He restores your body as well. But the transformation does not stop there. Your mind will be sharper, your thoughts clearer, your decisions more precise. Where you once hesitated, you will now move with certainty. The confusion that clouded your thinking, the doubts that made you question yourself, will no longer have a place in your life. God has replaced them with divine wisdom, with an understanding that comes not from the world but from Him. You will begin to perceive things differently, seeing situations with new insight, discerning opportunities where others see obstacles, and recognizing the hand of God working in every detail of your life. And as this transformation takes hold, something incredible will happen. People will take notice. They may not be able to articulate what has changed, but they will sense it. There will be something about you that draws them in, an energy that commands attention without you even trying. Those who once overlooked you will now be captivated. Those who doubted you will begin to wonder. Your very presence will shift the atmosphere, because you will no longer carry the burdens of your past. You will carry the undeniable power of divine favor. This is not the result of external validation. It is the natural effect of walking in your divine calling. You do not have to seek approval. The transformation within you will speak for itself. When you walk into a room, conversations will pause, eyes will turn, and people will feel compelled to acknowledge the shift. Not because you demand recognition, but because God's chosen ones radiate a light that cannot be ignored. With this newfound energy, confidence, and wisdom, you will move differently through the world. No longer will you shrink back in hesitation or second-guess your worth. You will stand tall, fully aware of who you are and the purpose for which you have been chosen. The days of feeling lost, uncertain, or powerless are over. Now, every step you take is a step in divine alignment. Every action you make is infused with God's purpose, and every word you speak carries the weight of wisdom and authority. This transformation is not just about becoming better, it is about stepping into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. God has prepared you, strengthened you, and renewed you from the inside out. And now, the world is about to witness the undeniable power of His work in your life. And as your transformation continues, even your financial situation will begin to reflect the power of God's favor. The struggles you once faced, the seasons of lack and uncertainty, will no longer define your reality. When God chooses someone, He does not only elevate their spirit, He elevates every area of their life, including their provision. The financial barriers that once stood in your way will begin to crumble, and the opportunities that once seemed impossible will now appear effortlessly. Doors that were once closed will begin to open before you, not by human effort but by divine orchestration. The resources you need, the connections you lacked, and the favor you prayed for will now flow into your life in ways beyond understanding. This is not coincidence, it is God's provision, His way of ensuring that you are fully equipped for the destiny He has laid out for you. Where once you struggled to make ends meet, you will now experience overflow. The days of barely surviving are over now. You are stepping into a season of divine abundance. But this transformation is not about material wealth alone, it is about financial freedom. God's chosen ones are not meant to live in a constant state of worry over money, nor are they meant to be enslaved by debt or scarcity. Instead, they are meant to walk in abundance, not just for themselves, but so they can bless others. The wealth that is coming into your life is not just for your comfort, it is a divine tool, a resource meant to advance God's kingdom and uplift those around you. As this financial shift takes place, your mindset will also change. No longer will you operate from a place of fear, constantly worrying about whether there will be enough. Instead, you will walk in faith, knowing that God is your provider and that His supply never runs dry. You will no longer hesitate when opportunities arise, afraid of failure or loss. Instead, you will move with boldness, fully confident that as long as you are aligned with God's will, provision will always be there. People around you will begin to notice the difference. They will see how your situation has changed, how the person they once knew who faced struggles, setbacks, and limitations now moves through life with unshakable confidence and resources at their disposal. Some will be inspired, eager to understand how you overcame. Others may be skeptical, unable to comprehend how someone they once counted out has now risen to a position of influence and success. But what they fail to understand is that this is not just a change of fortune, it is a divine shift, an act of God's favor upon his chosen ones. And because you have endured, because you have remained faithful even in seasons of hardship, God is now entrusting you with greater responsibility. The wealth, success, and prosperity coming into your life are not just rewards, they are tools. You are being positioned not only to live in abundance, but to be a distributor of blessings, to help those in need, to sow into lives, and to fund the work of his kingdom. This is just the beginning. Your days of struggle are behind you, and your future is filled with divine provision. God is ensuring that you will lack nothing. For those he chooses, he also provides for abundantly. And as God's blessings pour into your life, those who once doubted you will have no choice but to acknowledge the transformation. The same people who underestimated you, who dismissed your dreams, who whispered words of doubt behind your back, know they will stand in awe. They will see the undeniable evidence of God's hand upon you, and they will wonder how someone they once overlooked has now risen with such power and purpose. At first, they may struggle to comprehend the sudden shift. They may try to explain it away as luck, coincidence, or the result of circumstances beyond your control. But deep down, they will know the truth. This is not the work of man, nor is it something that can be logically explained. This is divine intervention, a transformation so profound that it defies every expectation. Where once they saw struggle, they now see victory. Where once they saw limitations, they now see limitless potential unfolding before their very eyes. Some will come to you with genuine curiosity, wanting to understand how such a shift was possible. They will ask questions, seeking insight into what changed, hoping to grasp the secret behind your transformation. And in those moments, you will have the opportunity to share the truth that it was never about your own strength, but about God's favor. It was his plan all along, his purpose being fulfilled in your life. You will become a living testimony, an undeniable example of what happens when someone remains faithful despite trials, holds on despite adversity, and trusts in divine timing. But not everyone will respond with admiration. Some will struggle with envy, unable to accept that you have been elevated while they remain in the same place. They will wrestle with their own insecurities, questioning why they were not chosen, why they did not receive the same favor. Some may even try to discredit your success, attempting to find fault in your rise. But their doubts and opinions hold no weight against the evidence of what God has done. Your transformation is not up for debate, it is a reality that cannot be ignored. And you will find that you no longer seek approval, validation, or recognition from anyone. You will no longer feel the need to prove yourself, because your existence alone will be proof of God's power. The respect you once longed for will now come effortlessly, not because you demanded it, but because God's presence within you commands it. When you speak, people will listen. When you move, doors will open. Your presence alone will carry an authority that is felt by all who encounter you. For years, the world may have treated you as insignificant, as if your voice did not matter. But God never saw you that way. He saw your potential, your faith, and your endurance. And now, he has lifted you up in a way that no one can deny. You no longer have to fight for a place at the table. God has prepared a seat for you in the presence of those who once looked down on you. And as you walk boldly in this transformation, you will inspire others to believe in the power of faith. Those who once doubted will now ask questions. Those who once mocked will now seek guidance. Those who once ignored your journey will now look to you as proof that when God moves, he moves undeniably. You are not just a success story, you are a revelation of divine power. Some will celebrate you, some will be challenged by you, and some will be confused by you. But none will be able to deny that you have been chosen. And now, as you fully step into your divine transformation, you will realize that this journey was never just about you. This was never just a personal breakthrough, it was a calling, a responsibility, and a testimony meant to inspire others. God did not lift you up for your benefit alone. He chose you so that your life would serve as undeniable proof of his power. Every struggle you endured, every tear you shed, every challenge you overcame has prepared you for this very moment. Now, you are walking in your purpose, And with that purpose comes a divine assignment to be a light in a world filled with darkness. You were not just chosen to receive, you were chosen to give, to uplift, and to guide others toward their own transformation. The wisdom, strength, and favor that now flow through you are not meant to be kept to yourself. They are meant to impact the lives of those still searching for hope. People will look at you and see evidence that faith changes everything. They will see that when you trust in God, when you surrender to His plan, nothing is impossible. You will not need to convince them with words. Your very existence will be proof that God is real, that He is working, and that He never forgets those who remain faithful. Some will approach you, hungry for the truth, eager to understand how they too can step into their divine destiny. And when they do, you will have the privilege of leading them toward faith, showing them that just as God transformed your life, He can transform theirs. But this is not the end of your journey, it is only the beginning. The blessings that have started to unfold in your life will continue to grow, but so will the weight of your calling. With great favor comes great responsibility. You have been elevated, and with that elevation comes a new level of discipline, wisdom, and obedience to God's will. The enemy will see your rise and will try to create distractions, but God's chosen ones do not fall back. You must remain steadfast, keeping your focus on the path He has set before you, knowing that your success is not just about personal gain, it is about fulfilling His purpose. There will be moments when the world tries to pull you back, when temptations try to lead you away from your divine calling. But you are no longer the person you once were. The transformation within you is permanent, and nothing can take away what God has placed inside you. When doubts arise, when challenges appear, remind yourself of the journey that brought you here. You have been tested, refined, and chosen for such a time as this. And as you continue walking in your destiny, you will see doors open that you never imagined possible. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach will now come to you effortlessly. People of influence will seek you out, not because of worldly status, but because they recognize the divine presence that surrounds you. Your voice will carry authority, your words will bring healing, and your presence will shift atmospheres. You are no longer just living, you are walking in purpose. This transformation is more than just an upgrade in your circumstances, it is a shift in your identity. You are no longer who you used to be. The world may still try to define you by your past, but they will quickly realize that you are unrecognizable, reborn, and walking in divine power. You no longer need validation from people, because your validation comes from God Himself. The respect you once longed for is now naturally given to you, not because you demanded it, but because God's presence in your life is undeniable. And so, you will move forward, not just as someone who has been transformed, but as someone who has been appointed. You are now a leader, a beacon of hope, and a testimony of what happens when faith meets divine timing. You will inspire those around you not by telling them what to do, but by showing them what is possible when they surrender to God's will. Some will celebrate you, recognizing the power of God at work in your life. Others may struggle with jealousy or disbelief, unable to accept the drastic change they see. But their opinions are irrelevant. What God has ordained, no one can undo. Your transformation is not for them, it is for His glory, and nothing can stand in the way of what He has set in motion. This is the moment you were always meant for. The waiting season is over, the struggles are behind you, and the future ahead is greater than you can imagine. You are not just living a new life, you are stepping into the fullness of your destiny. And as you continue forward, walking in purpose, in power, and in divine favor, you will always know one thing for certain. You were chosen,